2016 is officially coming to an end, and with a new year right around the corner, I thought it'd be cool to give you guys my first best movies of the year list on this channel. These are my personal favorite movies of the year. They have no bearing on which ones will win the most Oscars or which ones did the best in the box office. These are just the movies that I personally enjoyed the most and the ones that I think I'll be talking about for decades to come. So let's talk about 2016. I wouldn't say 2016 was a bad year for film. I'd actually say it was a great year. It was just a really odd mix of movies. Like, we had a really great spring with a lot of indies that came out of nowhere, but we had a terribly disappointing summer with a lot of blockbusters that just really fell flat. I thought there were a lot of movies this year that not enough people saw and not enough people are talking about right now, so there'll definitely be some movies on this list that you probably have never heard of, but there'll definitely be some ones that you have, because there were some great animated films and superhero movies this year. And before I start talking, there are two movies this year that I did not see that I feel should be noted before I make this list. I never saw Moonlight. I know I'm really mad at myself for not seeing that. I really wanted to, but I just couldn't find time to go see it. And also, Martin Scorsese's new movie, Silence, doesn't release in my area until mid-January, so I'll definitely be trying to review that when it comes out. But I didn't see it, so I couldn't add it on this list. So let's get started. I do have a couple honorable mentions. These are some movies that I thought were great, but I just couldn't put them ahead of all the other amazing things I saw in 2016. First off, we have The Witch. This was actually a really interesting experience for me. I saw this movie for the first time a couple days ago, not knowing anything about it, other than it was a horror movie that takes place in New England. And I was blown away by how good this movie was. It didn't even really feel like a horror movie. It was more like a creepy drama dealing with this family and this horrible situation they have to deal with. Anyway, it was a beautiful story, it was really well shot, really well directed, and some great performances all around. And my last honorable mention is Kubo and the Two Strings. This movie is awesome, and I feel like it should have made a ton more money than it did. It had some really fun characters, it was a really heartfelt story, and it was gorgeously animated. It's really just unfortunate to me that in America, movies like Minions and The Secret Life of Pets get more attention than this beautiful movie does, so if you have not seen Kubo and the Two Strings, definitely go check it out. Alright, so let's kick things off with my number 10 pick. The Nice Guys is such an underrated movie. This is a brilliant buddy cop story with some of the wittiest writing of the year. It has two incredible performances by Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, definitely some of the best chemistry I saw all year, and it's just the epitome of what Shane Black does best, making smart, original, unconventional buddy cop movies with some hilarious dialogue that sticks with you long after you leave the theater. Also, let's talk about Angry Rice for a second, because she gave one of the most realistic child actor performances I think I've ever seen. If you want to see great direction, great writing, great action, great music, and some amazing performances, please check out The Nice Guys, because it's one of Shane Black's best films to date. Another movie that not enough people saw, 10 Cloverfield Lane, is such an intense, nail-biting, suspenseful thriller that has you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. I thought it was a terrific directorial debut for Dan Trachtenberg. I can't wait to see what he does next. And this movie also confirmed for us that John Goodman is one of the best character actors working today. Every single time this guy just walked into the frame, he gave me this slimy, unsettling feeling that just filled the room. And I also love Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this movie. Her character was just really awesome, and the movie just did a really good job at making you desperately want to see her survive. I think 10 Cloverfield Lane is easily one of the best thrillers we've had in recent memory, and not enough people are talking about it right now, so please, if you haven't seen this movie already, go check it out. Zootopia is so much more than just an animated movie, and I think what it was able to accomplish alone is something to praise. It's a film that kids can enjoy because of the beautiful animation, the setting, and the zoo animal characters, but it used things like that to tell such a mature story with themes like racism, tolerance toward different groups of people, and even drugs. I totally wasn't expecting that. Also, Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are just really awesome characters. They play off of each other really well, and they're just really entertaining to watch in this film. It's just a really well-written story, and I'm so glad it was made. I think this movie can really teach the kids of this generation some valuable lessons. And what's funny is that this is probably one of the most relevant films that came out this year. Zootopia is awesome. I think this is probably the only movie on this list that someone could look at and go, this looks like Oscar bait. That being said, this is a fantastic movie, and it really shouldn't come off like that. Manchester by the Sea is an insanely well-written and well-acted drama, and it's one of the more atmospheric films I saw this year. Throughout this movie, I felt like I was watching real people, not actors. What's really interesting about this movie is that it's not very exciting. It's very slow-paced, and it's very uneventful. Not much happens throughout this entire runtime, but it's structured around such well-written conversations and beautiful cinematography that it keeps you locked in every second that it's on. I'll be honest, when I walked out of this one, I felt like I was in the movie. That's just how atmospheric this thing is. Manchester by the Sea really impressed me, and I guarantee you it's a film that I'll remember for a really long time. Arrival is one of the best directed movies of 2016. This has got Denis Villeneuve style written all over it, and I think he did a masterful job with this movie. I'll never forget that first shot of the alien spacecraft and how cool it looked. The fog rising over it, the nerve-wracking score it was set to, and the camera work. There's some amazing cinematography going on in this movie. The creative team on this film did such a good job at creating this mysterious aura surrounding the aliens. You desperately wanted to know why they were there. Like, what do they want to do? Do they communicate with humans or not? Are they peaceful or not? And this made it so interesting to watch this movie unfold. Amy Adams great, Jeremy Renner's in it, he's also great, so is Forrest Whitaker. The script for this movie was a lot more cerebral than I was expecting it to be, and it's just another terrifically well-directed movie by Denis Villeneuve, and I cannot wait to see what he does with Blade Runner. Captain America Civil War got everything right. The Russo brothers gave us a movie with some of the best directed action sequences in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but what elevated this movie beyond all the past entries in this franchise is the character drama, and the way this feud went down between the characters. It all felt so real. This felt like such a grounded, realistic universe, and there was such a sense of weariness between these characters that we've been seeing on screen since 2008, I think. We also got one of the best incarnations of Spider-Man and Peter Parker this time. Tom Holland was the perfect, quippy, kid-like Spider-Man, and he was also just a really realistic Peter Parker. You've probably noticed I keep saying the word real, and that's because it's my favorite thing about this movie. Captain America Civil War is an incredibly entertaining action movie, but it has such a great level of depth in the sense that it was able to set up such an incredibly grounded universe between these characters. This is everything a superhero movie should be. Hacksaw Ridge is one of the most powerful movies I saw in 2016. Such a great directorial comeback for Mel Gibson. The guy's a master behind the camera. This is literally some of the best directed war action I think I've seen since, like, Saving Private Ryan, honestly. They really immerse you in this hell-like reality. But not only is the action where Mel Gibson excelled with this film, because there's not a single dull moment in this entire movie. They set up a romance towards the beginning with Andrew Garfield's character and his wife that I thought was going to get really cheesy and slow the movie down, but it never did. I was amazed by that. Speaking of Andrew Garfield, the guy gave one of the best performances of his entire career in this movie, and I think what elevated all of the really well done action sequences in this film is the amazing performances. He was great, Teresa Palmer was great, Vince Vaughn was great, Luke Bracey, Sam Worthington. How did that happen? Probably one of my favorite things about this movie is seeing Andrew Garfield's passion to save people's lives. It really made for an emotional story. Hacksaw Ridge is a truly amazing film. So I had this movie and Hacksaw Ridge flip-flopping places on my list a lot before I filmed this, but I thought about it, and this is probably the one that I'm going to watch a lot more often. So anyway, Deadpool is easily the most fun I had in a movie theater in all of 2016. This is by far one of the most faithful adaptations of a comic book character to screen that we've ever had. Ryan Reynolds proved to us that even though he may have sucked as this character back in 2009, it was definitely not his fault because he knocked it out of the park in this movie. He's so good as this role. He's so funny, and that's another thing. This is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding. It knew exactly what it was. It never got too serious. Even the love story was really well handled. It's another movie that doesn't have a single dull moment. Tim Miller did such a great job with the direction. The action's great, the writing's great, Ryan Reynolds is amazing, the direction's great. Deadpool is everything I wanted it to be and more. So La La Land is a film that I was excited to see for a really long time. Ever since this thing was announced, I was pumped out of my mind for it. I love Damien Chazelle, I love Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, and the plot just sounded like it was going to be a really cool movie. And I can tell you, It delivered in every aspect I wanted it to. This is a film that I walked out of being reminded why I love movies. Everything about this movie just feels like magic. I think it's the best directed movie of the year. There's so many beautifully well done sequences with amazing cinematography, and Gosling and Stone are unbelievably good. Their romance is so well realized. In all honesty, I think La La Land is one of the best musicals ever made, if not the best. The performances are great, the music's great, it's amazingly well shot, it's a beautiful romance story, it's an inspiring love letter to people who follow their dreams, and Damien Chazelle did the best job a director can do with this movie. Alright, so we're now at my #1 pick for the best movie of 2016. Have you guessed it yet? Probably not. You probably haven't even heard of it, because it is the definition of an independent film. No one saw this thing. No one's talking about it right now. A lot of critics didn't even get it when it came out. But I thought really hard about this movie, and out of all the films on this list, I think this is the one I'm going to be watching forever. This is the one I could not stop thinking about after I saw it. This is the one that affected me emotionally the most out of all these, and this is my favorite movie of 2016. Believe me when I say there has never been, nor will there ever be, another movie like Swiss Army Man. This is easily the most original film of the year, and I didn't see another movie in 2016 that was able to hit me on so many different emotional levels. The first act of this movie had me belly laughing, and the third act made me want to cry. That never happens. Let's talk about the way it's directed, because it's amazing. The camera work is beautiful. There's so many gorgeous landscape views throughout the film. It's such a creatively well-shot movie. Also, it never bores you. It's well-paced, and it's always entertaining. Let's talk about the performances. Paul Dano is just awesome in this movie. He's so quirky and hilarious, and the film does a really good job at making you get behind his character, and you feel for him, and you understand the pain and the depression he's going through. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is the best performance Daniel Radcliffe has given in his entire career. And I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I love him as Harry Potter. But the way he just transformed himself into this character is brilliant. His dialogue is great, his line delivery is excellent, and his mannerisms and just how he moves his body make his performance that much more believable. Let's talk about the way this movie is written, because this is such a beautifully written movie. They took these very immature things like farting and used them to showcase all these hidden metaphors, like hiding things from people we love because they make us embarrassed or sad, or not telling someone our secrets. A lot of the people who saw this movie didn't like it because they couldn't get past some of the irreverent humor in it, and that really pisses me off. That means they just looked at this movie on the surface and didn't even bother to analyze this thing for how emotional it actually is or how deep the story is. Swiss Army Man is a masterpiece in artistic filmmaking. It's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of movie. It has amazing performances, hilarious dialogue, beautiful direction, a really cool soundtrack, and it's just such a beautiful friendship story about what it means to be human. And it is my favorite film of 2016. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And thank you to those of you who stuck with me since I started this channel in April. I've had so much fun this year talking about movies, TV, video games, all that awesome stuff. And sometime next month you can definitely expect a most anticipated films of 2017 video. Can't wait to talk about those. Also in January I'll be seeing Split, Silence, and The Founder, so I'll probably be talking about those on this channel. I promise I will try to put out more videos consistently. It's just, I barely have any time to run this thing. I really want to, but I just don't have that much time. But in 2017, I will be putting out a lot more videos on this channel. Thank you so much for watching once again. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. And by the way, what were your favorite films of 2016? Let me know in the comments. Let's compare lists. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'm Fletch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.